America is burning.
So many times.
The whole world is watching,
I committed so
and
many
we've watched quite a few things. We've watched the video of George Floyd's life slowly being extinguished on camera. We've watched Americans of all colors and classes take to the streets to protest injustice. We've watched stores being smashed by angry and opportunistic people. We're watching police brutalize protesters. We're watching political leaders fail to rise to the occasion. One of the beautiful things about America is its openness. There are relatively few walls to observing the state of affairs inside of that country. Unlike in many other countries, you truly do get to see the good, the bad, and the extremely ugly. It provides a unique object of study and observation for the rest of the world. And there are few countries able to match that kind of transparency. It has sparked protests in other parts of the world in solidarity and in an effort to raise attention for our own, analogous issues of police brutality and structural endemic racism. Among others, the UK, Belgium, the Netherlands, France. In all these places, we have protests going on right now, and more. I want to talk about those protests and the rage that fueled them right here in Europe. Rage is a fascinating phenomenon. It's complicated, it's multifaceted. It's an outward manifestation of a deeply internal yet shared process. A culmination of 1,000 narratives driven by a tension between both powerlessness and conviction, despair and hope, the sadness of reality and the pursuit of a future happiness. In their response to the solidarity protests, many Europeans mentioned that they feel lucky not to have a situation anywhere near that in the United States with regards to police brutality. The more insightful people, though, will admit that structural racism itself is alive and well in Europe, and that police violence and other forms of discrimination disproportionately affect Black, brown, and poor people. People stereotypically seen as more threatening, inferior, and undesirable by police, employers, and landlords, respectively. Police brutality is real in Europe, but easily missed. I had the fortune to grow up in Belgium, a relatively peaceful, extremely prosperous country. And while I had the misfortune of growing up a second-generation immigrant, I've never myself been exposed to any police brutality. That means that police brutality, to be fair, is a distant thing to me. That being said, I do have first world problems, first world complaints about Belgian police conduct. But I acknowledge that my fellow citizens living in poor, forgotten neighborhoods in the big cities, and also in the country of my descent, Jamaica, have much bigger problems. I know that many European police forces have endemic racism. By virtue of reports, testimonies by people I know who have worked inside of police forces, and who have interacted with the police. It's important for everyone to understand the difference between anecdotes, individual experiences, and statistics, collecting the experiences of many people. However, as I've hinted to before, when growing up in Belgium looking like this is no walk in the park. Below a certain age, children don't understand racism. Understanding it comes gradually through a collection of experiences beyond your understanding, which require explanation every step of the way. Why does a teacher punish me more than other children who do the same things? Why do people keep assuming that I don't speak Dutch, in my case? Why am I excluded from playing with classmates at school? At some point, the understanding that your very being, not your clothing, not your glasses, or your tendency to spit when talking, is the source of your painful experience, that understanding is a soul-damaging event. After finally getting an explanation for my own exclusion, the reason was made clear. It was not these kids' fault. It was their parents. Their parents told them not to interact with people like me. That people like me were bad. I'll never forget the day I came home crying to my mom, wishing I wasn't black, wishing I was white. And to be fair, I only wish that was the last time. Those kids, most of whom would later become friends, acted the way they did because their parents told them to. Truth is, they probably don't remember. Their parents probably never even realized. There was a time when people still had the balls to tell us that we didn't belong in their store. Unfortunately, that's no longer a normal procedure, a normal occurrence in Western Europe. Open racism itself is out of fashion, and that could be cause for celebration, but I don't think it is. Open racism is out of fashion, but private racism and prejudice is more insidious and hidden than ever before. Worst thing is nowadays, you've got to do a lot of work for your racism. Questions swirl around your head in daily life. Was my job application rejected because of my name or not? Was my rental application rejected because I'm black or not? Did that cashier's expression turn to a scowl because of me or because she's got resting bitch face? Did that officer treat me that way because of the color of my skin or because he's having a bad day? Who knows? It's exhausting. I know that for each of the above examples, statistics bear out that it happens. But how do you know if you're on the money? You don't. You're uncertain. You occasionally tell people about your experiences, but the ethnic majority will tell you all of it was chance, that it was just a bad day, that most people aren't racist, that one experience though was a disgrace. The thing is, it's not a one experience, it's a lifetime. About 6 years ago, I jokingly started betting any white person I knew that they knew a racist within 2 degrees of separation of them. Meaning either friend, family member, or extended family was a racist. Most of my friends are white, and I've never been wrong. Think about it yourself. It's so common to know a racist that the racist uncle or aunt at family dinners is a meme that everyone laughs at because everyone knows it's true. Politicians, when asked about racism, love to say that their countries, most people, are not racist. And you know what? I understand that answer. What does it even mean to be a racist country? It's too black and white. Does it only mean having signs banning dogs and blacks? Or can it include having a major political party making go back to your country buses? Or maybe employers who systematically reject minorities? Or maybe venerating the enslavers, traders, rapers, and murderers of your ancestors? It's at least worth a proper conversation. I don't know whether those make a racist country, but I do know that those are the hallmarks of countries with endemic racism. A lot of these politicians are then asked whether they want to enact meaningful reforms to combat job, housing, and police discrimination. The answer is no. It's always the same. At university, I once had the opportunity to ask this guy. about what his party and government would do about rampant discrimination and racism in Belgium. His answer? Well, apparently, we need a better immigration system. Yeah, that was it. No joke. When asked what about the present day discrimination that Belgian citizens experience, their answer is better immigration. I'm telling you this story so you understand how all-encompassing it is. How insanely stuck the conversation had become. How little inclination there has been to listen. To look beyond the own experience and interact honestly with the widespread experience of others. Being wealthy or a member of the ethnic majority, a man or educated can insulate you from any number of common experiences with severe consequences on people's lives. When those with power refuse to listen, refuse to act in solidarity, there comes a time that the unheard come out of the shadows. When they collect the courage to speak the language of rage.